When it comes to classic cinema, few films can rival the cultural impact and enduring legacy of King Kong. Released in 1933 and directed by Marion C. Cooper and Ernest B. Schoedsack, King Kong is a towering achievement in film history, blending adventure, romance, and groundbreaking special effects into a larger-than-life spectacle. It tells the story of a colossal ape who is discovered on a remote island and brought to New York City, where he wreaks havoc before meeting his iconic fate atop the Empire State Building. The film's innovative use of stop-motion animation, along with its emotional core and thrilling action sequences, has cemented it as one of the most influential films of all time. At its heart, King Kong is an adventure film about the clash between civilization and nature. The story begins with Carl Denham, Robert Armstrong, a filmmaker known for his daring projects, who recruits Darrow Fay Ray as the leading lady for his next film. Denham takes his crew to the uncharted Skull Island, a place of legend where he hopes to find exotic locations and perhaps something more. Once there, they encounter Kong, a giant ape worshipped as a god by the island's natives. After Kong kidnaps the crew sets out to rescue her, and Denham decides to capture the beast and bring him back to New York as a sensational exhibit. What makes King Kong so memorable is not just the scale of its action, but the emotion behind it. Kong is not simply a monster. He is portrayed with sympathy and even tenderness, particularly in his interactions with despite his fearsome appearance, Kong's fascination with and humanizes him, turning the story into a Beauty and the Beast parable. The film doesn't just focus on Kong's destructive rampages, but also on his moments of curiosity and vulnerability, particularly when he is in unfamiliar and hostile environments. The audience is invited to feel pity for Kong as much as they are meant to fear him, especially in the film's tragic conclusion. The technical innovations in King Kong were revolutionary for their time. Willis O'Brien's stop-motion animation brought Kong to life in a way that had never been seen before. The scenes of Kong battling dinosaurs on Skull Island, destroying the New York skyline, and his final showdown atop the Empire State Building are still breathtaking today. The use of miniatures, rear projection, and optical effects were cutting edge in 1933, creating a sense of scale and realism that made Kong a believable, living creature. The stop-motion Kong was animated with remarkable attention to detail, from the movement of his fur to the subtle expressions of his face, making him feel like a fully realized character rather than just a special effect. While King Kong is often celebrated for its technical achievements, the film also has an underlying commentary about exploitation and the consequences of human ambition. Carl Denham's decision to capture and exhibit Kong for profit turns the creature's story into one of exploitation. The greed and hubris of trying to control nature for commercial gain are central themes that resonate throughout the film. Denham himself acknowledges this in the film's famous closing line: "It wasn't the airplanes. It was beauty killed the beast." The line underscores the idea that Kong's downfall came not from his own actions, but from being pulled into a world that sought to exploit his power and beauty. The film also reflects the anxieties of its time. Released during the Great Depression, King Kong can be seen as a metaphor for the struggle between human society and the uncontrollable forces of nature. Kong, an unstoppable force of destruction, stands in contrast to the structured and orderly world of New York City, which itself was a symbol of modernity and human achievement. The film's depiction of a giant monster wreaking havoc on a city touched on deeper fears of chaos and societal collapse, anxieties that were very real in the uncertain economic climate of the 1930s. There are criticisms of King Kong that modern audiences have raised, particularly regarding the film's portrayal of the island's native inhabitants, who are depicted in a stereotypical and primitive manner. These elements reflect the racial attitudes of the era and can be uncomfortable to watch today. The film's themes of civilization versus the savage also carry colonialist overtones that are worth acknowledging when revisiting the film from a contemporary perspective. Despite these problematic aspects, King Kong remains an essential piece of cinematic history. Its influence can be seen in countless films that followed, from the giant monster movies of the 1950s to Peter Jackson's 2005 remake, and it continues to inspire filmmakers today. Beyond its technical marvels, King Kong endures because of the emotional connection it creates between its audience and its titular character. Kong is not just a monster. He's a tragic figure whose ultimate demise speaks to the dangers of human greed and the destruction that follows when we seek to dominate the natural world. In conclusion, King Kong, 1933, is more than just a monster movie. It's a film that changed the landscape of cinema, blending technical innovation with an emotional and thematic depth that still resonates. Its mixture of adventure, spectacle, and pathos ensures that it will remain a towering figure in film history for decades to come.